On the day Solzhenitsyn was arrested, February 12, 1974, he released the text of Live Not by Lies. The next day he was exiled to the West, where he received a hero's welcome. This moment marks the peak of his fame. Solzhenitsyn equates lies with ideology, the illusion that human nature and society can be reshaped to predetermined specifications. And his last word before leaving his homeland urges Soviet citizens as individuals to refrain from cooperating with the regime's lies. Even the most timid can take this least demanding step towards spiritual independence. If many march together on this path of passive resistance, the whole inhuman system will totter and collapse. Live Not by Lies, by Alexander Solzhenitsyn. There was a time when we dared not rustle a whisper, but now we write and read samizdat, and congregating in the smoking rooms of research institutes, heartily complain to each other of all they are muddling up, of all they are dragging us into. There's that unnecessary bravado around our ventures into space, against the backdrop of ruin and poverty at home, and the buttressing of distant savage regimes, and the kindling of civil wars, and the ill-thought-out cultivation of Mao Zedong at our expense to boot. In the end, we'll be the ones set out against him, and we'll have to go. What other option will there be? And they put whomever they want on trial, and brand the healthy as mentally ill, and it's always they, while we are helpless. We are approaching the brink. Already, a universal spiritual demise is upon us. A physical one is about to flare up and engulf us and our children, while we continue to smile sheepishly and babble. But what can we do to stop it? We haven't the strength. We have so hopelessly ceded our humanity that for the modest handouts of today we are ready to surrender up all principles, our soul, all the labor of our ancestors, all the prospects of our descendants, anything to avoid disrupting our meager existence. We've lost our strength, our pride, our passion. We do not even fear a common nuclear death. We do not fear a third world war, perhaps we'll hide away in some crevice, but fear only to take a civic stance. We hope only not to stray from the herd, not to set out on our own, and risk suddenly having to make do without the white bread, the hot water heater, a Moscow residency permit. We have internalized well the lessons drummed into us by the state. We are forever content and comfortable with its premise. We cannot escape the environment, the social conditions. They shape us. Being determines consciousness. What have we to do with this? We can do nothing. But we can do everything. Even if we comfort and lie to ourselves that this is not so, it is not they who are guilty of everything, but we ourselves, only we. Some will counter, but really there is nothing to be done. Our mouths are gagged, no one listens to us, no one asks us. How can we make them listen to us? To make them reconsider is impossible. The natural thing would be simply not to re-elect them. But there are no re-elections in our country. In the West, they have strikes, protest marches, but we are too cowed, too scared. How does one just give up one's job? Just go out into the street? All the other fateful means resorted to over the last century of Russia's bitter history are even less fitting for us today. True, let's not fall back on them. Today, when all the axes have hewn what they hacked, when all that was sown has borne fruit, we can see how lost, how drugged were those conceited youths who sought, through terror, bloody uprising, and civil war, to make the country just and content. No thank you, fathers of enlightenment. We know now that the vileness of the means begets the vileness of the result. Let our hands be clean.